So I'm down here on Christmas Eve. I've got all my shopping done, and my wife's paging me. I've always wanted something to help me, hold my 410 rounds that I'm going to be hand loading. And I know you can buy, vices with collars specifically for each caliber or size. But why would I do that? When it would be more fun to make it. So what I'm going to do is I found this drill bit size. I think it's either 1/2 inch or 7/16 that seems to be just right to where it would allow the case to go in, but not the rim, because I want the rim to be held on the bottom of the board. I'm going to start off with like a scrap piece and make like a prototype, and then from there I may go into even having it milled out of metal. So I found this piece of yellow pine, which is pretty heavy. It feels pretty dense. It's about the densest thing I have right now in the shop because I just moved in, and always keep your table saw blades down. That's what I do. In case somebody decides they want to come in and cut something or turn the power on accidentally. I'm gonna cut it. Yeah. For now, I'm just gonna eyeball this, but in reality, I'd probably try to do it like at 1.5 inches. But for now, it's Christmas Eve. I'm just playing, so I'm not gonna get much accuracy. Get my table saw hooked up. That's good enough. I don't need the whole thing. I was doing it one-handed, so that wasn't exactly the safest thing to be doing. Let's see. Let's run this out here. Again, I'm doing this here. So now I've got myself kind of like a 2x2, and that looks pretty dense. That should work pretty good. So I just want to be able to do like 5 of these at a time, but on the other hand, I don't want this thing to be huge. So I'm trying to think of how far apart I should put them. Let me just eyeball them, see what I come up with. Looks like I've got them about 1 inch, 1.25 inches. I think I've settled on 1.25 inches. So I'll just do this the rough as a cob way. I'm just going to put me a mark at every 1.25 inches. And I know this is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 3/4 down the center like that. There, not perfect, but good enough. Let's see, let me just make sure. I'm gonna mark it to make sure it does, just as a guide, just to have something to go by. So again, this is kind of a prototype. If I was doing this for the finished one, I would have put a block of wood under this to keep those from chipping out. But what you would do is just load them in there like that, and just set them like that. And then what I would have is a board on bottom that's probably got a groove routed out in it for those rims. I'm going to cut me a little piece of 1x. See if I can set you right here. While I do this, get this lined up. And what that's going to become is the bottom piece. I need my cameraman. Barrett, I'm missing you, buddy. I'll see him tomorrow for Christmas. Since we moved, can't find anything, really. I know that somewhere in one of these 4 bags of tools, I remember seeing some cabinet hinges, little tiny ones, not big, just little small hinges. But for now, let's just pretend that this is attached to the bottom like that, and there would be a hinge on the end holding it on there. So we're going to pretend like we have our hinge on here and that's fixed so it won't move, and we're going to try to load these 5 just to see how we do. But over here you can see, I remember, and I had my load data sheet here, and I remember it was that number 1 cup, that's what I'm calling it. And I remember that wasn't a particularly hot load, so that's what I wanted to keep it at. I don't want to blow up my shotgun. So, and I'm new to kind of hand reloading, so if you see something I've done, let me tell you something, when you move, I would suggest taking better care than I did. So what I'm going to do is, I should have a funnel, but I'm just going to go in here and put 1 in each. That's number 1. Oh, that was a good scoop. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. And again, if these are not all, they were almost to the top, but I ain't gonna worry about it because, like I said, I don't want these to be really hot. Hot loads. Let me close up my powder before I have spontaneous combustion. And just to be safe, I'm gonna go ahead and test 1 scoop again. That would be the responsible thing to do. This is probably going to be like 15.6 or, let's see. It says 14.6. So, yeah, I'm not worried too much about that, because my sheet called for 15. What's funny is I was going to actually melt some lead down, and then I remembered that Bobby Yankee sent me this this bag of shot. Let me open this up. Oh look, I actually opened the end of it. That's what fell out. I was going to actually measure. Yeah, I was going to check to see what 3 or 4 of these were. It would be cool if I could feel comfortable with putting 4. That's still just a ½ ounce, not even a ½ ounce. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9, well duh, that sounds familiar. 9 of those would be an ounce. So now I know what my benchmark is. Okay, I just did the first one without even, dang it, without turning the camera on. But what I've got is, I'll just do another one so I don't have to change that one. What I've got is a little shot cup or a wad, column wad, and I'm going to put that in there. And I was able to get four of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a nitro card. Now my next loads, I was going to try maybe something different. Maybe putting some fiber wad in there that wouldn't take up so much room. I'm going to put CW for column wad and 4 shot. Column wad and 4 shot. And since this is a prototype, I can just draw on it if I want to. Now this next one, I'm going to try just putting one of these fiber wads in there, which is a little bit thicker than a nitro card, but it's not as tall as that column wad. That's going to be snug. I can already see how this is working out good. So now, let's see how many we can get in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get 5. And then my nitro card. So we'll try. That's a fiber wad, a FW, and 5 shot. Got one more of those. I'm down in there. What happened to my? And we'll run 5 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. 5. Okay. Is this boring? I thought I would just turn on the camera on Christmas Eve while I'm doing some experimental. I know this isn't experimental for you guys, but for me it is because why does that one want to be? These want to be a little more tight. I don't know if I can get the crimper on those. I'm going to take some of this ram oil. Where's my hole at? Square it up in there and then run this back around and see if I can get this to line up before I, there we go. One last little roll. That was pretty good. Okay. On the 5 ones, I'm actually just going to paint the top of the shell. And that's what I should do, is come up with a color coding system. So I can just paint the card. I'm sure somebody's done that before. And then if I have to refer back to the video, I can. But now, see, I can just pop them out. We're ready to go. So as a matter of tolerance, I think I can see where I pushed a little hard on the crimping and some of the shot is bulging a little bit. So on the actual, if I get a guy to mill this for me, I would want this hole to be the size of a chamber, and they could do that at a sheep, a mill shop. This is just a 1/2-inch wood bit, so the tolerance, but if you had that thing, the size of a chamber, then you could feel comfortable crimping it and not worrying about it expanding on you. But that's what it was doing. It was a lot worse when I was just holding it by hand and trying to crimp them that way with a hand drill. This is much better. Just having something to hold them stable is much better. All right, I've got another 5 loaded up here, ready to go. I think what I'm gonna do is just do like a box of them. These are my first 5, and we'll take them out next week. We're gonna go to the range and just have a little downtime, a little range time with the sons, the boys, Barrett and Alex, and maybe even try to get Allie out there on the Ruger 1022. She loves that thing. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks Bobby for the shot, the lead, and I appreciate it. And I'll do a range report and let you know how they worked out. Thanks a lot, everybody, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.